Alright, here's Big Metal Generation 2 bird called Skarmory. As you see, it's one of the coolest mons on Earth. No, seriously. The design, as simplistic as it is, it's really cool and it's really awesome. And it's incredibly popular, not just for Pokemon Go PvP, but in the main games as well. It looks really freaking, it looks nice. It looks nice. Anyways, Skarmory is a steel and a flying type, so it does qualify the Flying Cup. Now, as you see the stats, it has a very high defense, attack, and stamina stat. The defense is what matters a lot. It can tank a lot of things on the Flying Cup just because of its defense. The big problem with Skarmory is that it's weak to some types, and you'll take a look. We'll tell you like the big one that you really want to look at is electricity. Now, in the Flying Cup, there's Zapdos and Emolga are really great safe switches in my opinion, as well as closers, because most things are weak against electricity. And electric Pokemon have really fast charging and hard hitting charge moves that you have to be careful of. Other than that, outside of the Flying Cup, it has a ton of resistances. That's why it's one of the strongest mods in Open Great League. You resist so many things, and it's just overall an incredibly dominant mod. There's very few things like electric and fire, so AWAC and like other things, but that's Open Great League. In the Flying Cup, what matters the most is definitely the electric typing right here. You want to be careful because it's going to be a shocking turn of events if you get blasted by something that's an electric type when you don't have a shield, because it's going to suck. And we're going to take a look at that next. But anyways, it's not, it's, nowadays it's kind of hard to find good Skarmory. You can still find one in like the PvP awards, etc. But if you want to find a really good IV Skarmory, your best bet is to find a nest or find a really great one in the wild. I personally have a rank 2 Skarmory, so I have a really high one. I spent hours at this one nest trying to find a good PvP one, and here it is right here. I got one. But for this one, for Flying Cup, you want Steel Wing. Steel Wing is what makes the difference, and you're going to see why very, very shortly. But overall, like I said, Skarmory, a little hard to find good PvP IV-wise. I would look for a nest, and it does cost a little hefty amount of Stardust, but if you've been playing PvP for as long as you have now, you likely have a Skarmory that's built. Alright, so I did everything ahead of time. I put Steel Wing Skarmory and Air Slash Skarmory in here just so you can compare, and I also put an entire matrix list of the top 27 in the meta. Actually, I'm going to take out Siltaria. Top 26. So top 26 of the meta on Flying Cup. I took it all in here. You shove it into a matrix, and all you do is you put your shield scenarios, you do your Houdini magic, and then you hit battle, and then poof, here you go. This is what you get. So this is the best way to analyze a matrix. The interesting thing in the two shields, I'm going to make this really short and simple, is you beat Aerodactyl in the lead. That's the most important thing. You beating Aerodactyl in the lead in the two shields is massive, because a lot of people are going to run Aerodactyl in the lead. In the lead, you also lose some matchups and you win some matchups, but you actually win more critical matchups in the 2 shield versus the 1 shield, and here's why. So in the air, so Steel Wing Skarmory beats Aerodactyl. That's the most important one here. You'll beat both versions of Articuno. You'll also beat both versions of Gligar. I don't know who the hell's going to have Hidden Power Rock Togetic. If you want to use it, fine, but I just, honestly, it's not freaking worth it. But yeah. The only thing is, you kind of lose against the Dragon Breath Gyarados variation. I don't know, you might see it, you might not, because Waterfall is what you need to beat Aerodactyl, but it's what it is. The Steel Wing version only loses, ironically, because it's Water's double resistant, but that's something you should look out for. If you see a Gyarados and you see it has Dragon Breath, just be careful. Dragonite and regular Dragonite Shadow, both of them, you beat Dragonite cleanly, you also beat Lugia. This is really interesting here, too, because you might see Dragonite because Dragon Breath is so oppressive. And you also beat a lot of other, like, random things. Like, you beat Ho-Oh, knocked out Swoobat Tropius. You might see Drifblim a lot, so just be careful because you do lose the 2-shield against Drifblim. But you beat Golback Shadow, etc. But again, the most important matchups you want to note over here is that you beat Dragonite, you beat both versions Dragonite, and you beat Aerodactyl in the 2s, in the lead. That's what matters the most. Of course, if you see Altaria and you see Zapdos, it's going to suck in your switch, but the most important thing is being Aerodactyl in the 2-shield. Because you're going to see so many Aerodactyls in the lead. That's my prediction, just because there's nothing that really oppresses it in the lead. We're going to go to the one. That's the 2-shields. And now here's the 1-shield. Now in the 1-shield, you beat Aerodactyl with both variations. That's in the 1-shield. You'll still lose against Zapdos and Emolga just because electricity hurts. You beat both Cold Turkeys. So both Cold Turkeys still lose in the 1-shield. You beat opposing Air Skarmories with Air Slash. This is what's really important. You beat Air Slash Skarmory with Steel Wing, which is freaking nuts. Actually, it's really weird, but it's really nuts. If you take a look right here, and you look at the actual simulation, you win with 2 HP. So this is kind of IV dependent. So if you have a bad Skarmory, for example, yours is like 7. Let's imagine yours is like 7, 15, 15, something of that sort. Let's imagine this. So it's like 7, 7, 15, and you do this number. Wait, what? Oh, so you still kind of win. Okay, you know what? Let's go back real quick. Okay, that's really weird. So it's okay. Let's take a look at it again. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I apologize. Like, yeah. Okay, that's 2, and then. Well, I guess it's because you have higher defense. Yeah, it's because you have higher defense. So higher defense matters. So it's kind of IV dependent. If you switch this over, and this guy actually has like 15 attack. So let's say this is a let's say this is a defense heavy one. You still beat it, but still barely. So be careful because you'll barely live. But you beat the Air Slash Fairy. You'll also beat Altaria in the one shield. That's important. You beat Altaria in the one shield. You beat Gligar. You beat Togetic. Again, why the hell would you build this thing? You don't beat Gyarados with Waterfall. That's the iffy thing. You'll beat Dragon Breath variant this time around, which is the popular. I can see it being the more popular version. But remember, you lose against Waterfall Gyarados. That's important because I can probably see some. I'll do an analysis on Gyarados for the Flying Cup, but Waterfall Gyarados beats Aerodactyl and it beats a lot of other things too. You lose against Dragonite, the regular Dragonite, in the one shield, so be careful about 2. You do beat the Shadow one though. You also beat pretty much everything else. Pelipper is like kind of interesting, but you also beat Pelipper in the one shield, so just keep that in mind. And then Steel Wing Skarmory in the Zeros, you get this. Poof. So you beat Aerodactyl just straight freaking slashing its throat with Air Slash, and then you just finish it off with Sky Attack. As you see here, Rock Slide doesn't knock you out. That's the important matchup. You will lose against Zapdos and Emolga. Be very careful because these two are really good save switches. And like from what I see, Zapdos and Emolga are going to be incredible save switches. And you lose against Shadow Articuno. You win it. I mean, you don't lose. You beat both of them. You beat both Articunos, and you beat a majority of things inside the Zero Shield. The only thing you really lose to is Mantine, which can still be viable in this league, so just be careful about it. But Mantine loses hard against Aerodactyl, so you might not, but just just take note of it. Other than that, you beat most relevant things in the meta versus in the Zero Shield. But like I said, just keep in mind versus Mantine, just because it double resists Steel, and it's just opposing Sharmas and Zapdos and Emolga. Other than that, you'll beat a lot of relevant things. And that's Steel Wing Skarmory in the nutshell. Very powerful against Aerodactyl and other meta things. Just be careful which matchups you actually go against, because if you don't know, like for example, if they have Waterfall Gyarados and you're like staying, you're going to die. That's in the one shield. But in the Zero Shield, you beat a lot of things in like multiple scenarios. Again, there's just little things you should just look out for. But like I said, the one thing you should be really careful for. You should really be careful of. And this is the summary. So the things you should be really careful of is Zapdos and Emolga. Zapdos and Emolga are your worst nightmares just because of the electricity. I think you lose every scenario or the one shield against them. So let's play it real quick. I think you only win the ones. Actually, you don't even win the ones. You have to be up a shield to beat Zapdos. So just keep in mind against Zapdos and Emolga, those are the two ones you really have to look out for, because you only win if you're up a shield. Those are the only scenarios where you win, where you're up a shield. So be careful. Other than that, Steel Wing Skarmory seems to be a beast. He's going to be really powerful. So I would definitely recommend looking at one. Try to get the one as high IVs as you can, because the IVs really do matter. So get a high IV one, use it, and it will serve you well. And I will see you guys on the next video. And we'll see which one I want to do. Have a good one.